We've got ourselves a Super Bowl. The Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. Their cigar got put out tonight, and I'm proud of them. Hard-fought battle. I'm really excited about Revenge Tour 2023, where Joe Burrow begins right now, trying to march back in and get a Super Bowl appearance and win in 2023. So, Revenge Tour. Look for a bunch of graphics and animations on that, because that's going to be something we're pushing a lot. The Fantasy Football Show begins very shortly, counting down in 3 minutes. Let's go. File on in. Get ready for phone calls. Get ready for conversation. Travis Rowe first in the building. Peanut Butter, Freak, Mealy, Dan in the building. Let's go. Hit that thumb up button.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? Thanks for joining me tonight. This is a a mixed bag show for me. I very much was rooting for Joe Burrow. You guys know how much I love cigar smoking Joe Burrow. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are gonna remember it.
Get burrowed.
And Burrow had a great game. He was rushed a lot. He got hurt at the end. What a soldier, going out there and throwing and gunslinging at the end like that. Made so many plays when the game was on the line. Big third down plays. Great play calls. Commend that coaching staff as well. Both coaching staffs, really. And we don't know what would have happened if that last play wouldn't have occurred. Like, what no offense, karma to shove Mahomes dirty style out of bounds cost your team. We don't know what would have happened. We don't know what would have happened, and I don't think we can assume that the things would have unfolded exactly like they did. Cost time, it cost yardage. The field goal was short. Like, we don't know what would have happened, but karma, because that guy shoved Mahomes out dirty and looked like he tore his ACL. So we'll see what happens with his knee. But what a season! What a season! What a playoff! What a playoff! I've got the bracket right here. I can pull up, and we can toss the Chiefs up here. They won their game, so we'll put the Chiefs in green. We'll put I hate doing it. Put the Bengals in red, and we will advance the Kansas City Chiefs up top to the final in the Super Bowl, facing off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me make that color again. Let's see here. Where is it? Nope. There we go. So now the board is legit and true. It is the Chiefs against the Philadelphia Eagles. Here, what a tough game to watch, honestly. But I'm happy for the Chiefs. I'm happy for the Eagles. We got the two gimpy quarterbacks going head to head, both showing grit today. Mahomes persevered. What an amazing job. We got a $20 super chat. We got Nate dropping a 20. People are getting Mahomed, and they aren't going to remember it. Almost have that right. You almost have it right. Fool's money is betting against him. Keep betting against the best. AFC runs through him. Full stop. Burrow has a full supporting cast and doesn't measure up. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate you, Nate. First of all, thank you for the $20 hauler.
To the moon.
First and foremost, so I appreciate that. But I mean, it was a close game. You know what I mean? Like, if the Bengals would have won, I would have been. Yeah, I would have actually. I probably would have said the same. I would have probably said the same thing Nate said, just the other way around. You can't stop her. Let's be real. Okay, I'm being honest here. But honestly, my genuine thoughts would be Mahomes pulled up, and I probably would give Mahomes a ton of credit still, even though I'd be amped up about Joe Burrow. Mahomes did amazing. Burrow did amazing. It was a close win. It came down to, literally a couple plays. Mahomes failed, and Mahomes succeeded. And he succeeded. Then he failed. Then he failed. Then he succeeded. He bounced back, persevered, got injured, kept playing. The Bengal defense was showing grit and looking, rather impressive, and they should get a round of applause for how tough they played. And they've been doing that all year. Very underrated defense, but mistakes at the end that cost essentially the game potentially. We don't know. But Mahomes, let's give Mahomes a standing ovation.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we owe that to Patrick. Patrick played his heart out, and all these four quarterbacks did, including Johnson. The starting quarterback. If you don't know who Johnson is, he's a starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy hopefully is okay. Hopefully he doesn't have to have Tommy John surgery, potential career ender. We'll have to see. I think people are jumping the gun, assuming he needs Tommy John surgery already. He needs to have MRIs and all that. But his arm was so bad he couldn't throw the ball, he said, 5 to 10 yards down the field, which puts into question Shanahan's mindset and game plan. Why would you put him in the game if he can't throw 10 yards down the field? If all he's going to do is hand the ball off, you might as well deploy some sort of wildcat with Debo and Christian McCaffrey. Juice, Kyle Juszczyk is the backup quarterback. At least he could throw the ball. You had options. Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown pass earlier this season. Debo's done it all the time. I just don't know why, if you were Kyle Shanahan. Well, I know why, because Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, craps the bed at the end of the day. He's a great offensive coordinator, bad coach. But Shanahan putting his quarterback out there in Brock Purdy, who is too injured to return, so you put in Johnson. Johnson gets hurt instead of... You're basically saying he was so bad you had to put Johnson in. And when Johnson got hurt, you put the guy back in that you felt didn't have the ability to even throw a pass or barely hand the ball off. I don't know what Kyle was thinking. He dropped the ball on that one. And I love when people defend him. Like, when's he going to start taking accountability for getting just there enough and then dropping the ball, taking his foot off the gas, mismanaging this, mismanaging that, not challenging that fourth down Devontae Smith catch, which we all thought was a catch until they started showing replays. Granted, maybe his people didn't get that quick enough, but you should automatically challenge that as a coach. Okay, let's hope something's there, because it was such an unbelievable catch and you didn't quite see the other side of it. I would have immediately challenged it. And if you lose a timeout, you lose a challenge, so be it. You know, it was a fourth down play. It was important enough to challenge, but Shanahan sat on that. So you can make excuses for him all you want. I really don't care. I have my opinion. You have your opinion. You can come in here and yell at me all you want. Clearly rigged. No, it's not. Gamer, come on. Enough of the NFL's rigged and scripted. Is there corruption somewhere? Maybe. Is there a ref paid off that might botch a call on purpose and he's getting the bag? There are human beings involved in this game. Of course it's possible. 100% possible that there's some kind of corruption somewhere. We don't know. We can't say there is. We don't know if there is. But is there corruption somewhere? Sure. But this idea that the NFL is rigged and scripted and you have 53 times 32 people, 53 players times 32 teams that are all quiet about this being like a WWE scripted affair. You think these guys are excited to play college football, get to the pros, and find out it's all fairy tale and fictional and they're actors? Come on, stop it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Is it scripted? Is there corruption? Human beings are involved. There's a big difference between a scripted NFL and there being bad refs, maybe an occasional thing we don't know about happening behind the scenes. Look what happened in Miami. Coaches paid to lose. Is there corruption? Absolutely. Could the NFL even, and this is just a fairy tale story here. This is not me accusing the NFL of anything. But is there a world where I can envision, parallel universe, if you will, envision the NFL pressuring something to happen? I could see something coming out and we're like, oh my God, and there's corruption at the highest level. Like, sure, but scripted, you got to be out of your mind. They're all actors. You have 53 times 32. You have 1,696 actors. Are they in the Actors Guild? Is this a union? An Actors Guild union? 1,696, almost. There's over 1,500 actors that are all staying quiet, and they never signed up to be actors. They're just told you're an actor. Shh. You gotta be out of your minds. Unbelievable. Who really believes that it's actually fake? Is there someone that actually believes that in the chat? Please let me know and just humor me. I would love a good laugh right now, because all I'm picturing is Joe Cigar smoking Burrow. Not up there right now. Not up there on the stage, smoking a stogie and sitting there with Jamar Chase, just putting up W signs. Like I'm a little bit down on that right now. But it's okay. You know, we're here to enjoy this game from a fantasy football and NFL perspective. I know some of you are team-based people. I have the Cardinals. I never get to root for that one year when Santonio Holmes crushed our dreams. That's the last time I really had a taste of victory here in Arizona. So I take solace in rooting for my players and predictions. Last year's Moonmen. And by the way, we got the yearbook in. The yearbook was delivered. I ordered it. It's been away for a while, on its way over. Being delivered. It got lost, but now the yearbook for 2023 is here. I'll play the yearbook in just 1 second. Actually, let's hit the yearbook right now. Let's hit the yearbook. I give you the 2022 Fantasy Football Show. Your boy Smitty's yearbook. Okay, you ready to take a trip down memory lane? Here we go. Where is it? Where is my yearbook? Oh, wait, where is it? Here we go. I give you the 2022 The Fantasy Football Show yearbook, baby. And if you look at this thing, we got at the bottom right quarter, best couple. Most likely to succeed is DeAndre Swift. They never get that right. They never get that right, the yearbook committee. They always botch it. They always botch it. But look at these moon men all together in the same class. We need quotes under them. We're going to have more, don't worry. And Nate dropping another wad, bro. I got to give a standing ovation for this one. Nate, dog. We got Avatar dropping a super chat. We got Nate Dog flying in with another $20 holler. Nate Dog had one already earlier. Let's see here. Let me just find Nate Dog's real quick and toss it on. Man, Nate Dog's dropping fire tonight. Nate Dog and Avatar, appreciate you good buddies. Okay, Avatar. Here, let me throw Nate Dogg's on screen. Nate Dogg.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Nate Dogg coming through in the clutch. Your boy Smitty is a little bit down right now. A little bit down, but Nate Dogg comes in and says, Smitty, here's a little $20 hauler. Here's another $20 hauler. Here's $40, Smitty. Nate Dogg is $60 away from being tied. Or no, $60 away, because that would be 100 of being the highest super chatter of the year in a single live stream. No pressure, Nate. Just letting you know. Nate Dogg, $40 hauler. Never expected, always appreciated. Let's see what Nate says. Can we just admit Mahomes is greater than Burrow? I think it's owed. Look at the supporting cast. Mahomes still outperformed. It's straight up disrespectful to not give that. Bro, I as much as I want to, tell you what you want to hear because you just dropped $40. I want to thank you, first of all, but my opinions can't be bought for sure. So I'm not going to tell you what I don't believe. I think they're all super close, bro. Like, if I was starting a team, would I want Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, or Josh Allen? I know you're going to sit here and say, Josh Allen, how can you say it? Because, I'm not saying Josh Allen's won, but I firmly believe that you are doing very well to the point where it's really hard to measure it. It's really hard to measure what quarterback is going to have the better future from here on out. Mahomes most certainly is in the top two. Is Burrow's story still ready to be told? And grow and flourish? Yes. Do I think Mahomes is better right now? I think he proved it right now that at this moment in time, he is probably the top quarterback in the NFL. At this very moment in time, he's injured. He's doing this without Tyreek Hill. He's been bested before by Burrow, so you can't say that like this is the end all be all, that it's not going to flip back next year. You know what I'm saying? That's part of where I think I have a problem with what you're saying here, even though I appreciate you and I respect your take, and you can have this take and there's nothing wrong with it. At this moment in time, Burrow's the best quarterback in the National Football League. Last year, Burrow beat Mahomes, so you could flip that if you want. Next year, I'm hoping that you come in and drop a $20 hauler and say, man, I'm so sorry, Smitty. Or I'm so sad, Smitty, because Mahomes just got bested by Joe Burrow. I'm hoping you come in with a $20 hauler next year, Nate Dogg. You know what I'm saying? But like, are you wrong? No. I mean, it's arguable. It's 1,000% arguable. Nate Dogg dropping another 20. Is this another $20 hauler? Or is this the same one? That's the same one. Thank you, Nate Dogg. Appreciate you. Avatar. I'm sorry, this is the new one. Looks like the Bengals go running back in the first round this draft. Mixon and P. Ryan were putrid. I agree with you, and I've been saying this for a long time. I think Cincinnati getting Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the Moon Men.
The Moon Men
would be amazing.
Dropping loads in outer space.
Would be absolutely phenomenal. Getting Jahmyr Gibbs
Space Monsters
or Charbonnet or Sean Tucker, Sean Tucker feels like a phenomenal fit for the Cincinnati Bengals. Sean Tucker would go bananas in this offense, would go absolutely crazy. I love Sean Tucker. He's on the Moon Man list. I love Charbonnet. He's on the Moon Man list. I love Gibbs, obviously Bijan. So 100% on board with that comment, Avatar. And again, thank you for the super chats, both of you fine gentlemen. Top 15 for sure, sis. Come on, bro. Come on. Joe Burrow, top 15. Joe Burrow's number 2 if he's not 1 right now, in my mind. In my mind. He's, like, you could argue Josh Allen and Hurts have the skill sets to rotate with them. You know, we're always wondering who's the best quarterbacks. Who's the best quarterback? Let's rank them 1 through 4. Every year they could change a little bit. We could have Josh Allen. In 2 years, we could have Josh Allen 1. Maybe Nate won't. But, like, to argue Mahomes versus Burrow, to argue Josh Allen versus Hurts, I don't know. It seems hard to call someone wrong, you know? We're all going to have our rankings. Burrow's mine. He's my 1. Mahomes is my 2. Hey, I don't know if you know this, bro. I don't know if you know this, Nate Dogg, but most people don't have Mahomes as their number 2 in Dynasty. They have Josh Allen or Hurts or whatever. I think because Josh Allen and Hurts run so much, I have Mahomes as 2. I have Burrow 1 in Dynasty QB rankings. In redraft, they're tied. They're tied, bro. All 3 are really close. But look, Mahomes, you know, if you're talking just football, not fantasy, right now, he's the guy. Right now, just right now. Burrow's gonna have something to say about that next year. My boy Burrow's coming back. Burrow's coming back. The pancake stack is back.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
In redraft, you could easily argue Josh Allen because he runs. You could argue Hurts because he could get 900 yards on the ground. Hurts might next year. Let's say Hurts rushes for 1,000 yards and throws for 4,000. To be the first quarterback to ever do that. What happens then? What happens then? Do we start talking about him being landslide quarterback 1? But then he runs a lot. He could get hurt. He could have a shorter career. It's still an argument that if Burrow can get to the 45 touchdown mark on the regular, which I believe he can. He started off very slow this year. He lost Jamar Chase for a big portion of the year, even if you kind of include that being that Jamar came back and was still hampered a little bit for a big part of the year, let's say. Not most of the year, but a big part of the year. I think that if Burrow had Chase all year, if Burrow didn't start off and have like 3 really slow games, like really non-existent games to where people are questioning me and my sanity about how much I love Joe Burrow, thinking Smitty busted on Joe Burrow. Really, it got to that point after week 3. It was like, is Smitty wrong on Joe Burrow? And even I was getting worried because it's like waiting. Joe left me at the altar. I think had he had a normal start, Joe Burrow would have had 45 touchdown passes. He would have been QB1, you know. So I hear what Nate's saying. I hear. Let's stop talking about this, Nate, though. Let's start talking about quarterback movement. I know we've been talking a lot about it lately, beating a dead horse with it, but this is the funnest part of the year. This is the stuff that makes fantasy football. And now we have the 49ers as a 4th option on the board here, a 4th option. And they're in the Tom Brady game, in my opinion. And do I think they should be? Do I think it's unfair to Brock Purdy? I do. No one's saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying there's going to be conversations being had. And you can laugh at this all you want. You could say it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. None of these are guaranteed. All these rankings, there's a reason we have 3 quarterbacks here because we don't know what's going to really happen. There's a reason we have 3 quarterbacks here, 3 quarterbacks here, 2 quarterbacks here. You have Trey and Brock Purdy, who I should really put their faces up here too, because we need to discuss, you know, who the quarterback's going to be in San Francisco, because Brock Purdy is 100% one of the options. There's no doubt about that. Brock Purdy is one of the options. Trey Lance is one of the options. Where's my image of Trey? Trey, I haven't used it in so long. I don't even know where it is. Trey Lance, where are you? Trey? Did I delete it off my computer? Do I not have any images of Trey Lance? Let's see. There he is. Okay, so what's happening here? Well, looky here, reindeer. Look what we got going on here. Trey Lance. Let's move him over a little bit. Thomas Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance. These are the options for the Niners in 2023. Probably ranked in order of how I would like to see it. And I don't know if I want Trey here or Brock here. The reason we got to give Brock his shot at being ranked at least over Trey, and then we could talk behind these two, is because Trey Lance has no experience and Brock looked very good. And Brock is getting a raw end of the deal in the media. I believe this is new. This is Nate again. I think this is Nate talking Mahomes. You know what, Nate? You want to super chat all day long talking about Burrow and Mahomes. I'm fine with it. I appreciate you, Nate.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah. Nate Dogg. Let's give Nate Dogg the respect he deserves, and we'll talk about this topic one more time for him. Let's read this off. Imagine if Mahomes had Chase and Burrow had to throw to Mahomes' current cast. Pure talent standpoint, I don't find it close. Burrow is great, but he's absolutely Mahomes over Burrow from a talent standpoint, not close. Okay, man. Nate Dogg's really gonna stick to this, and I appreciate your loyalty to Mahomes, just like I appreciate your loyalty to the channel, my guy. I appreciate you. Nate is speaking his mind, and he's not having it any different. Nate says, "Come for me." I'm supporting this man, Patrick Mahomes, to the end of the earth. He has no weapons. He has Travis Kelce. He's got Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce and the McKinnon and Pacheco options are pretty good, though. You know, there are quarterbacks that don't have those options. So I wouldn't say he doesn't have pedestrian options. Kelce's that good, bro. You know, one could argue Tyreek Hill and Kelce there's no comparables to that at all. Even if you go to the Niners offense or the Eagles offense, it's like Kelce and Tyreek Hill, it was uncomparable. And now that he lost Tyreek Hill, we kind of think, oh, he's got no weapons. He's still got more weapons. You could argue Kelce and McKinnon and Pacheco are as comparable. They're close or the same as Chase, Higgins, and like Boyd, you know, like, and Hurts. I think Kelsey's that good that I don't know that it's that crazy. You know, if anything, he's had this huge advantage, and now it's more even Steven. But Nate, I appreciate you. Nate's getting real close to being the top super chatter of the year so far. We got Ron Navy. Let's see, where is this? I think I got it right here. Ron Navy is the top super chatter lifetime with the 765 WAD that he's dropped on screen. Michael KCPA is the 499er. We've got, who is it? It's Bob. Bob has the current super chat, current leader, current 2023 in one show leader is Bob with $100. So let me put that on here. I don't have his is Bob in here? Where's Bob at? I don't have his avatar, so I'm gonna have to put Bob $100. But Nate is getting really close. What is Nate at? Nate's at like 80 or something, isn't he? Let's see. Nate's at 60. Nate Dogg. Appreciate you, Nate Dogg. Ron Navy is a GOAT. Attaboy, Ron Navy. Juju is decent and MVS is pretty good. Burrow would have been bounced in the first round with this current Chiefs team, says Nate. Maybe, bro. We'll never know. He has Kelce and then a bunch of mid-plus. He was a bum ankle. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not against Mahomes. I'm not against Mahomes. If I was starting a franchise, I'd rather have Joe B, but by like this much, it's, they're amazing. Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, Josh Allen are neck and neck. This is almost a crazy conversation. Appreciate you, Nate Dogg. Phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into thy show. Unbelievable set of games today. I'm tired, but at the same time, I have enough energy to do this show and to have good conversations with all of you and I was excited to get back on and have these conversations with you. Burrow O-line looked awful, a step behind. Yeah, imagine if their O-line gets better and better and better. But Joe Burrow he looked phenomenal in this game. I mean, what he did, what him and Mahomes both did was just put on a show. Like unreal excitement. Unreal excitement. What's up, Ron Mabey? Speaking of the devil, what's up?
What up, Smitty?
What a game.
Number 58. He ain't going to be able to sleep for all year long.
Well, he shouldn't. He has no right to.
He cost his team the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was a blunder.
Cost the team the Super Bowl.
That was.
You know what? What did I say last night? I said I thought Philly was going to destroy San Francisco. That happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I said the closest game is going to be the KC-Cincy game, and it might go to overtime. And that it should have went to overtime.
Yeah. What a blunder.
I was like, I can't believe that guy made that bonehead play and cost his team.
Yeah.
And I hate games that end like that because I'd rather it be, Mahomes make the run and there's no penalty and they make a spectacular kick like that. But when it's decided by a penalty, it's just, I don't know. To me, it takes away from it.
Yeah.
I hate when games end on penalties like that.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous penalty. Karma got him right away too because it looked like he tore his ACL. Just unbelievable. His leg locked up right when he was pushing him out of bounds. But that was a really dirty play. I can admit that. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm pulling for the Bengals, and I'm not like, oh, he's going out of bounds. Like I'm very, very objective over whether something's a touchdown, whether it's a good call. And that was instant karma. It was instant karma. Play dirty, shove him. Like, he's out of bounds. He was already out. You can even see him slowing down to the point where, like, when you go out of bounds, you slow down. And then at the end, you just see him go like this. He kind of just went, I'm tempted to shove you. And then, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and then he goes and he has a pity party on the bench, puts his helmet on. Well, you should have just walked into the locker room because nobody wanted to see your dumb self anyways because that was just uncalled for.
Yeah, some people are saying Burrow played like crap. 2 interceptions.
Went right into the locker room.
Some are saying Burrow played like crap, 2 interceptions. Like, I mean, it wasn't like there weren't struggles for both on both sides. Like I think Burrow made some amazing plays. I think he played very, very, very well at times. Like, but what was it?
They
tough
both
game?
Did.
Yeah, they rotated, and the defenses.
There was a time Burrow was out playing Mahomes, and there was time when Mahomes was out playing Burrow. They went back and forth with both of them. I mean, look, towards the end of the first half, Burrow was out playing Mahomes. In the second quarter, Burrow outplayed Mahomes. And but Mahomes got it in the end. You got to give it to that guy. He bad ankle and everything. He just went for it, and then old boy decided to play dirty and decided to push him and cost his team.
Yeah, and nobody should be too down on even the Niners or even like I know I'd go at Shanahan, but I've been doing that from the beginning of like 2021. So it's not like that's new. It's not like I'm judging Shanahan for losing this game. I'm judging Shanahan for his continuous repetitive mistakes. So it's like, but from a Niner standpoint, being a Niner, like if someone is out there as a Niner fan, you should be very proud of your team. They were a Final Four team. If you're a Joe Burrow or Bengal fan, you should be very proud of your team. It was a hard-fought battle, and I'm just excited for smoke season and the NFL draft and all the rumors, and I live for that stuff. I don't like starting rumors that aren't like I know some people say, "Oh, clickbait. You're just going to drop clickbait." And this whole Tom Brady to San Francisco, you're trying to get clickbait. I'm not. I mean, these are all legitimately already being talked about stories. And just because I go live on something doesn't mean I agree with it. Sometimes I go live on a Tom Brady rumor, or let's say there's an Aaron Rodgers rumor, to shoot it down. So, sometimes it bothers me that people say I'm clickbaity. Of course I'm going to put up a thumbnail and a title and go live on a hot topic, when it's a crazy hot topic. Of course I am. But that doesn't mean it's about clickbait for me, or that I'm trying to. The last thing I'm ever going to do, except for when I was joking around about the paternity test title, like that wasn't what it seemed like. And for part of me thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, you're going to watch the video and it's not what it seemed. But for the most part, I'm never going to, unless it's a joke like that, a funny joke that is got great humor. It's a joke that's in the news and everybody's talking about it. And they were, when the Cincinnati Bengals said that Burrow was Mahomes' father. It turns out the results came back negative. And Mahomes was not his son. But like I try very, very hard to never be clickbaity, so that when you watch my video, you say, "Oh my God, that wasn't what he said it was in the title or the thumbnail." Like, that's the worst thing you can do to your followers and your channel. So like, I'll never do that. But am I gonna go live on Brady whenever there's a whiff of any sort of Brady to Niners news? Of course I am. And will I shoot it down? Maybe. Will I agree with it? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna go live. I go live whenever news breaks. It doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. I'll be the judge of that on my live stream. Real quickly, let's go to.
I think it's great.
You what, Ron?
I think it's a great thing that you have divisional rivalries, but Cincinnati, Kansas City is turning into a great conference rivalry. And it kind of reminds me almost of the Steeler-Baltimore rivalry, because they're always hard fought and they're always close games. And that's how I look at the Bengals and Kansas City rivalry. Is they're always good and they're always close, just like the Pittsburgh Baltimore.
People need to remember that Mahomes was in a very different place this time last year, where people are like, "Oh, he folded and he crumbled." Like, so this is going to be a rotational thing in the AFC. There's no way Mahomes just dominates the AFC constantly. They're going to rotate. They're all so good. Josh Allen's going to have his day. I know a lot of people are jumping off that train very quickly, but Josh Allen, his time will come when he's in an NFL Super Bowl and he's winning an NFL Super Bowl and raising up an MVP award. There's no doubt in my mind Josh Allen will have his time. There's no doubt in my mind that Joe Burrow will have his time. And they're going to rotate. These AFC quarterbacks are absolutely legit. And it's the changing of the guard. And you've got the one quarterback in the NFC that's Jalen Hurts that's competing with these other three AFC monsters that are just going to rotate being the best quarterback in the NFL at that moment in time. It's anybody that thinks, and no offense, Nate, I love you, pal, and thank you for all the super chats. But anybody that thinks that it's never going to change, that it's just going to be one of these guys, like in the current moment, Mahomes, come on. Josh Allen's going to have his day. Burrow's going to have his day. Mahomes will come back and have his day again. It's not like Mahomes, once his day's over, he's never going to return. They'll rotate. These guys are absolutely amazing.
And they're all young. So we're
all
going
young.
to see them playing against each other for several more years.
Yeah, Fields is trying to get into the tier. You got Trevor Lawrence trying to get into the tier. I mean, it's a young group of signal callers. They're all young, changing of the guard across the board. That's why the Moonman list is full of sophomore wide receivers and rookie running backs, essentially, almost the entire thing.
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
Almost this entire list is sophomore wide receivers, and then
Space Monsters,
all rookie running backs, and then we've got Breece Hall, changing of the guard. Welcome to it. Hey, hold on, Ron. We got Mike and neglected. Is that neglected Nicholas? What is it? Neglected Nicholas? Is it neglected Nate? Neglected Nate?
Yeah, what's up, Smitty?
Oh, is this Nate, the super chatter Nate?
Yep.
Attaboy, Nate. Nate's coming in. He's coming in hot. Nate, tell us how you really feel. Don't drop any bombs, Nate. I don't want to have to block you, so please don't. Tell us how you really feel about Mahomes, because you haven't been real clear yet.
No, I just feel the entire way that it's being looked at is incorrect. I think that Mahomes is he's showing us that he's going to be the next Brady. So to look at this like, everyone's going to have their chance, and yeah, Burrow, as great as he is, he'll probably win a Super Bowl or maybe 2 if he's lucky, right? But Mahomes is probably going to win like 4 or 5 Super Bowls. The way he's playing it, and just he's showing it with no supporting cast, nothing around him, just blowing it up and being who he is and elevating all these players.
I don't disagree.
I just think
I don't disagree with that. At the end of the day, he could have more. I'm not saying so. Like, what I'm saying is it's going to be year to year though. Like, and maybe Mahomes has more of those opportunities of rising to the top, but it's just not going to be Mahomes straight on out. But I think that one thing you're not mentioning, which you don't really need to, because I'm a big proponent of you can't separate situation from player, but Andy Reid is a huge part too. Andy Reid's a phenomenal coach, aggressive coach, one of the most aggressive coaches in the National Football League. And so I feel like, yeah, and like Chris said in the chat, no supporting cast. I think that narrative is being stretched a little bit. Like Kelsey, McKinnon, Pacheco, even Tony, Kadarius Toney, there's a lot of weapons, and maybe they aren't all shining all by themselves like Tyreek was, and it feels like it's a bad supporting cast because none of them are stepping up consistently. But I think the way McKinnon played all year and the way Pacheco started to play, McKinnon, Pacheco, and Kelsey, you could easily argue are competent in comparison to Chase, Higgins, and all the other Bengal players. I really think that McKinnon played that well this year. Now, I don't know what McKinnon's going to look like next year at 31 years of age, but McKinnon, Pacheco, and Kelsey are easily on the same level. It's not a pedestrian group of people. And Reid's so good. But you can't separate Reid from Mahomes. It is what it is. End of day, you might be right. Mahomes might have more of he's the best quarterback in the National Football League moments and years than Burrow, maybe not. But I don't think it's clear as, like, you can't just say there's no argument. Like in your mind and the way you feel about it, you're predicting Mahomes is going to be the top quarterback over the course of the next 15 years, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think you could just bet your house on it, bro.
Okay. Do you think that like Chase wouldn't be Chase without Burrow? I mean, Andy Reid, he won his Super Bowl once he got Mahomes. Same with Kelsey.
I think Chase was a generational talent that you heard me touting all over and over and over, that he is the best wide receiver to come out in a long, long time. Him and Jefferson were so good coming out, but Chase was even more highly touted coming out. Jefferson was great. He was really good. Everyone knew he was going to be good, but Jefferson took it to another level than what the expectation was in general. A lot of people liked Jefferson, but didn't think of him as Jamar Chase until he started to show that signs of that in the NFL. But Chase, for sure, wherever Chase went, I was super high on him. Now, if you put him in a really, really bad spot, like Carolina, like I think you could take JJ and put him in Carolina, and you would get a 80% version of JJ or a 75% version of JJ. It's not his fault. Look at DJ Moore. We don't know how good DJ Moore is. We might never know, because he's in a horrible spot. Horrible spot. So to answer your question, I don't like separating position or situation from player, but I just think that, like, it's a kind of I don't know, an argument doesn't need to take place, because we're all gonna have our opinions at that level. At the Mahomes and Burrow and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts level, like, no one's gonna win that argument. It's like talking politics with your mom. You're just gonna go in circles over and over and over. But I appreciate your take, and I like hearing it. I'm just saying, you're not gonna convince me that Burrow doesn't have a shot at being the next Tom Brady, mini Tom Brady. Mahomes will be there too. They're all so good, bro. Fields could look like
definitely
that for a season or two and then flop off and get injured, and who knows. All I know is Mahomes and Burrow are my two dynasty QB 1 and 2, whichever order you want, because they run less. So I feel like in the course of 15 years, they're not going to have as many potential, season-ending injuries. But you never know. I mean, Burrow already had the ACL tear, so you can never predict. But Josh Allen and Hurts were both hurt very badly this year and hampered significantly.
Yeah, I mean, dynasty-wise, I'd probably take Burrow over Mahomes as well. I'm trying to separate the whole fantasy football aspect from the real football aspect, and I don't know. To me, it's kind of disrespectful considering Mahomes has a ring and has a chance at a second one right now.
But is it really that disrespectful? Is it really that disrespectful when Burrow's owned Mahomes? Like until this moment right now. So like you could go back and forth. You could also say that if you put a contrast to your argument, if you put Mahomes with Burrow with Andy Reid and Kelsey and McKinnon and those guys, we don't know what Burrow's stats would be. You can't play that game, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that Mahomes' situation is lesser at all. I don't at all. I think that it was so good, you're forgetting that it was a level above anybody. So when you take Tyreek Hill off, you automatically say, without Tyreek Hill, he's not playing with as many weapons. Well, Kelsey, McKinnon, and Pacheco and Juju, and the way that, they've all spread it out has made it feel like it's not as potent. But, man, I mean, KC's got an offense, a coach, aggressiveness. They're all great, bro.
No, they absolutely are. I mean, just seeing this last season and seeing Mahomes just from a fantasy football output outperform Burrow when Burrow has all these weapons. Like, I just don't understand how you could go into next season expecting that to change when, like, Mahomes' situation could improve and Burrow's situation, how does it get better?
I can't understand how you go into next season not understanding it. Like, so it's like we're gonna argue back and forth on it. Like, Burrow started off 3 games very slowly. He would have been the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football, and that's really what we're talking here. At the end of the day, we could, if you want to separate and talk just NFL quarterback, then I think you have even a stronger case given Mahomes is maybe got a slightly better chance, and it doesn't mean it's a lock, but a slightly better chance at winning more Super Bowls with Andy Reid and in Kansas City, and just a slightly better chance in my opinion. But you might be right if we're talking NFL football. But from a fantasy perspective, I don't think you can say one thing like, oh, you can't expect Mahomes' situation to not improve when you can say the same thing about Burrow, who had 3 straight bad starts, Jamar Chase out for a decent portion of the year, and still was like QB3. He'd be QB1 hands down if he played really well the first 3 games and had Chase all year. So you could just go back and forth. From the fantasy perspective, I think it's a ridiculous argument to think one is crazy better than the other. Although I think it's ridiculous to tell somebody that their take is, wrong on it from season to season. Like, if you said Mahomes is going to outscore everybody next year by 50 points, every quarterback by 50 to 80 points, you can't sit there and say that's a crazy take. It 100% could happen. But I think to say, how can you like any one of the other 3 quarterbacks better than Mahomes next year, that to me is a similar sort of craziness, in my opinion. But I love you, Nate.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's just one has proven it and has already done it with less of a cast. So, in my opinion, apparently you don't feel that way. That Jamar, I agree with you that Jamar Chase is the number 1 wide receiver, and Mahomes doesn't have that. He has a bunch of put together pieces.
Hold on, Ron Navy wants to say something. Go ahead, Ron.
If you take Mahomes and put him behind Cincinnati's offensive line, does Mahomes perform as well as Burrow has had to do behind his offensive line? You know what I'm saying?
A fully healthy offensive line, or the offensive line he had tonight?
Burrow, all year long, he's dealt with a bad offensive line, but yet he got his team to the championship game, right?
Their healthy offensive line was one of the greatest.
Ron, you're really quiet.
Line.
Ron, we can barely hear you. I don't know if you can change. It seemed like you're muffled.
You can
Ron.
barely hear me?
You're better now.
Okay. So I mean, it's really unfair to say, well, Mahomes is better than Burrow or Burrow's better than Mahomes when they're both very highly competitive, and they both have advantages and disadvantages that they're dealing with. Disadvantage for Burrow is his offensive line. The disadvantage for Mahomes is he's lost a lot of his, some of like Hill. He lost Hill and stuff like that. But they're both very highly competitive, highly great quarterbacks. And I don't like either team. I mean, my team's Pittsburgh. So go Pickett. Pickett's going to overtake all of them. Pickett to Pickens. Watch out next year. Pickett and Pickens are going to own both Cincinnati and KC next year, baby. Ha! How do you like that?
All right. Back to the the Nut House show. Just kidding, Ron.
I'm not going to pretend to be smarter than the crowd here, but I mean, based on PFF's grading of offensive lines, Burrow had one of the best when they were all healthy. I mean, unfortunately, they weren't all healthy for this matchup.
Let's go to Mike.
Mahomes had a worse offensive line.
Mike, you've been waiting a while, or is that Mike talking?
The other thing is you can't compare Mahomes to Brady. Mahomes will never be Brady because they're two different players. Mahomes might get as many, he could have many Super Bowls, but he'll never be like Brady. There's only one Brady, and there's only one Mahomes. Mahomes is very unique in his own right. So,
hey, Mike, have you talked yet?
Brady, I would make a comparison.
Mike, have you talked yet, Mike?
No, I haven't. I
Okay.
was just going to say about Mahomes and losing his weapons. Something to think about, too, is this isn't really thought of as a strong wide receiver class, like top-heavy receiver class. This is kind of like, I don't know where they're going to find that, like, next. Obviously, they're not going to get another Tyreek Hill, but, I do agree. They do need to – Kelsey's going to be 35. Like, they do need to start retooling their offense, even if they win the Super Bowl, which is just, but I think a guy that would be a good fit there is Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee.
And you never know, like, NFL free agency's coming up. Like, we never know who's going to want to land there, especially if you want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, that's good. And let's go to Kelly Loco real quick. Kelly Loco.
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to counter a little bit of Nate, what Nate had to say. Mahomes is great. His athleticism, you can't deny. I kind of look at Mahomes as, I know Ron Navy's saying he's not the next Brady, but I think as far as championships, he will be the next Brady. And it's Brady versus Peyton Manning. I see Burrow as the computer, good processor. He's still, Mahomes got a little bit more mobility than Burrow. That's the difference. And, let's not forget about the other players on the field. Cincinnati DBs, hey, those guys stepped up. Those rookies, they took the lumps in the beginning of the year, and, man, they guarded Chase, made Chase a non-factor. That's hey, hats off to them. Whatever they did. He had to go to T. Higgins, the open man. And I agree with Ron Navy. Like, if Mahomes was playing behind Cincinnati's line tonight, this game would have been over because of his lack of mobility.
And don't forget, gentlemen, Brady's not done yet. As Lucky, the ape, just said, once he gets to San Francisco and he wins another Super Bowl, if that does happen, then we got a whole Brady's legacy still growing. We'll see.
What about Vegas? What about Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas,
Maybe
Miami.
Vegas,
Miami's also another location. Real quickly, yes or no answers, no elaboration. Ron, yes or no answer. Does Brady win a Super Bowl if he is in San Francisco next year?
No.
Does he win a Super Bowl if he's in Miami?
Possibly.
Okay. Kelly Loco, yes or no only. Does Brady win a Super Bowl if he's in San Francisco next year? I don't care if anybody thinks it's going to happen or not. I'm asking the question if.
Yes.
Does he win a Super Bowl if he's in Miami?
Yes.
Neglected Nate. I know you think Mahomes is going to win the Super Bowl no matter what, okay? But just let's pretend Mahomes went missing. He went on a hike. He'll be back. He'll be fine. but he's missing for a year. Okay, he went on a sabbatical. If that happened, and Tom Brady went to the San Francisco 49ers, does Tom Brady win a Super Bowl?
No.
If he goes to Miami in the same scenario, does he win a Super Bowl?
No.
Okay. Mike, did I ask you?
No.
Okay, Mike, what do you think about both questions?
I don't think he wins anywhere.
Okay. It's interesting though, because there's going to be and the reason I did that is I want to get it's a good sample. You know, we have 6 people that are on this line call, including myself. I think there's a possibility. I think in Miami more than in San Francisco. Well, no. I think either way. He goes to San Francisco or Miami, he's got I don't know, let's call it a 20% chance. 20% chance, I guess.
Smitty, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was because I'm from Massachusetts, I thought it was weird when McDaniels went out to Vegas and he started loading up on all the weapons. I'm like, dude, there's no way he thinks Derek Carr is going to compete in that division. But he obviously had some type of plan before he went there. Maybe this was all hatched out ahead of time.
It
for Brady to go there.
I mean, look, there's a lot of rumors about him and Sean Payton on their way to Miami, bro. On their way together to Miami, essentially. It was done. There's reports about this all over the place. Before the Flores stuff blew up and Miami Mike became the head coach and everything started to go in that direction, Tom Brady and Sean Payton were as good as locked and loaded into Miami. It was done. It was essentially done. There's all kinds of reports on this. And once the Flores stuff started to unravel, they pulled back on that. They obviously didn't go in that direction because that was going to open a can of worms, and it was such a like you could say a corrupt way to hire a coach because they hadn't even gone through any of the hirings yet. There's stuff all over on this, and so Tom Brady, it's been planned for him to be in Miami, just not with McDaniel. So it's interesting. It's definitely a location he was okay playing because he was as good as traded to him. And so if that's a place we know he would want to be location wise, and he has Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and an awesome coach in terms of his offensive coordinating, not his care for his quarterback, which maybe Brady's gonna have a problem with, but that's a great location for him. I think Tom Brady's in San Francisco or Miami, and then a little bit of me thinks that he could be a Las Vegas Raider if those avenues don't pan out, because he'd love to throw to Devontae Adams, and they could bring Jacobs back. I think Jacobs won't maybe get what he wants in free agency. Maybe he does, and if not, they draft an RB potentially, or they who knows what they do with their first round pick.
I need the Belichick versus Brady AFC Championship game. That would be legendary.
And the Raiders have this 7 pick. They can do so much with this pick, and they don't have to trade the pick for Brady because Brady can go where he wants. So there's no draft capital exchange involved in the Brady
and
signing.
They paid.
Hey, Smitty, I don't know if you saw the news kind of like during the day, like flashing across the screen. They kind of said he's not going to go to Miami. You know, they're throwing that out there. Not that obviously it's just starting, but I think the Vegas is a little higher up. Now, tax-free. Miami would be an ideal location, but, if they're not going to, why would they type that out? I don't know what's going on. Maybe they want to try and make the cost less. But the other thing I was going to say, going to back to Shanahan, it wasn't like the only loss, but about your head coaching comments, he screwed up today. How do you not have a third quarterback on the team in a playoff game?
How do you not?
These guys
activate
try to
Jimmy
micromanage.
G? Yeah, how do you not activate Jimmy G?
They try to micromanage. No, Jimmy G, if he can't go, if he's not available, granted, I would love to have Jimmy G. If he's not available, bring your practice guy up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about special teams. These guys try to do the special teams and extra guys and all this. That's for regular season.
Yeah.
Look what happened. They could not throw the ball down the field.
It's the most.
You got to have insurance policy.
It's the position they struggled with most too, So why would they not expect the worst with that position too, which is crazy. But Shanahan made multiple
Huge mistake.
mistakes. Not challenging that fourth down amazing looking catch by Devontae Smith. I mean, that was fourth down. It took a lot of angles and time to get to the bottom of it. So you could almost on its face say, well, we didn't even know it was not a catch until way after they're already made, snapped the ball and everything. But when you can't see the other side of that and it's fourth down, why would you not throw the challenge flag and say, let's just hope? Because that was such a miraculous catch. You could envision him coming down hard with the ball and hitting the ground. Like that was a mistake that lost the game essentially. If you were to try and pick one thing.
I agree, but that one I could almost overlook as a Bay Area guy. But like going into the game as a coach, you don't have a third quarterback. You're going against one of the best defenses in the world. Yours is maybe the best, second best. You're going to rely on Purdy, a rookie. Okay, that's great. And then you got some other guy, not a third person. If Garoppolo's not ready to go, just in case for emergency, like we've heard of these games where they have emergency quarterback, just in case. What was their emergency just in case? They only had two guys?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And to go to the Super Bowl, that right there, that proves your case, Smitty, about him, offensive coordinator versus head coach. I was a coach. I call my own mistakes. That was the mistake. You watch. They're going to talk about it all year.
People always clown
more than the timeout.
Yeah, people always clown on my take that Kyle Shanahan is a bad head coach. He's an amazing offensive coordinator. And whenever they try and go at me with it, like, oh, well, how do you say that when he got his team to, X number of NFC championship games? Because he's a good offensive coordinator. How am I not making myself clear? When he does do well, that is the offensive coordinator part of him shining through. But at the end of the day, the head coach trips the offensive coordinator part of him right on his face. And his decision to give Debo one touch in the second half of last year's championship game, his decision to run Trey Lance up the gut, and everybody says, oh, he's so smart keeping Jimmy G. He wasn't smart keeping Jimmy G. He was ridiculously dumb to keep Jimmy G, not spend that money on the offensive line and not run Trey Lance up the gut so many times, and he would have a healthy quarterback, and he wouldn't have had to resort to that. It's crazy to hear people defend Kyle Shanahan over and over and over. He is an offensive mastermind. You're not going to have me say he's not, but he clearly takes his foot off the gas in certain games. He clearly starts off very slowly. And if you want to know my number one gripe with Shanahan, my number one gripe is his lack of commitment to his quarterbacks and how he he won't back him. He won't back him. I went on Raj's show earlier today on RSF 49ers, and everybody's clowning on me in the chat because they think I'm insane about this Kyle Shanahan take. But when you don't support your QB, when you, like right now, if they said, hey, is Brock Purdy your quarterback of the future? You know what he'd say? We're not going to go there. And everyone's going to say, oh, that's cool because he's so coy about it. And he's so smart. He doesn't let everybody know his plan. Do other teams do that? If you went right now to the Chiefs and neglected Nate will tell you, and you said, who's your quarterback? Andy Reid would have no problem saying Patrick Mahomes. Why is it so hard to say? What advantage are you getting where you're coy about who your starter is? Shanahan won't support his starting quarterback. He won't support his starting quarterback. He won't tell anybody who his starter is till deep into the season. I almost guarantee that, or deep into the offseason. And that's one of my biggest gripes. You don't instill confidence in your quarterback, and you're creating confusion amongst the whole team. Like, grow some balls and say, this is our QB. I know we drafted Trey Lance, but guess what? Trey's an amazing backup. And if anything ever happens, we're so confident in Trey. But guess what? We also drafted Brock Purdy. He is our starter for the future. He would never say that. I don't care if his arm comes back negative and he can actually, heal up pretty quickly or something. He will not back Brock Purdy. He will wait. And that's the problem with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I agree. The kid needs confidence. That was horrible. I'll go down with that. Them not having a third quarterback for the game, that's the mistake it'll burn him. Hopefully it burns him on the off season, but he won't learn. He will not learn. But and again, I'm a Raider fan. That was, I feel bad for my friends. We're out here, having a good time, and everyone's looking around for the third guy. They're putting Purdy back. I thought it was going to be like a miracle story. Like, okay, maybe you can go. Like, they didn't have somebody else.
This is Kelly Loco talking or Mike?
Kelly Loco.
Okay, so Kelly, here's my other gripe. Brock Purdy admitted after the game he couldn't throw but maybe 5 yards down the field. 5 yards. He didn't say it's hard to throw a 20-yard pass. He said I can't throw but 5 yards. I can't even throw 10 yards down the field, I believe is what he said. 5 to 10 yards.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you put him back in the game when I know it's upsetting and it's crazy and it's unorthodox? You made your own bed, just like you said, Kelly. He didn't have enough quarterbacks on roster active. You made your own bed. Why would you put in a guy that 100% can't throw the ball versus a guy that, yeah, maybe he knows the plays better, but guess what? You're calling all run plays that you're down 21-7. There's no way you're coming back on this defense. Why on earth would you not put somebody in there? And I know Juszczyk was the emergency quarterback. And I know that there's some thinking like, what good is he going to? He could throw the ball more than 5-10 yards down the field, so at least there's an option. Christian McCaffrey in the Wildcat, Debo in the Wildcat. Do you know how phenomenally fun it would have been to watch those two guys rotating at signal color? Like that would have been...
He was nervous as a former coach. They don't get enough reps. They say emergency quarterback, but in reality, these guys don't get the reps. But that's when you just got to, bite the bullet and go for it. I probably would have did the Wildcat maybe, but I wouldn't have had only two quarterbacks knowing that I have a rookie that, granted, things have been going good. But if I knew Garoppolo, just in case, it's one thing if Garoppolo could have came out there and limped around like Mahomes and made it happen, that's your emergency guy. That's fine. But you don't have, I would have brought up my practice guy.
Hey, real quickly.
It's brutal.
Hang tight real quickly. First of all, Kelly Loco, thank you for I have you as Kelly Loco in my system. It's Cali Loco.
Like California.
Why do I have it as Kelly Loco? Hold on, let me change that right now. So Cali Loco, first of all, thank you for the super chat. I just saw that. And I appreciate you chiming in. Hang tight real quick. Don't go anywhere. Bella, check yourself. Appreciate your super chat as well. I just saw that. Bengals Eagles would have been a way better Super Bowl, says Bella. Check yourself. That's his opinion. I know that's gonna drive neglected Nate crazy. But Bella, appreciate your super chat. Let's go over to Mike real quick. Mike, do you have anything else you want to add or talk about while you're on the line here, bro?
Yeah, but it's kind of a little random. It would be really off topic. I don't want to get off the topic.
Just nobody drop some bombs on here, okay? We're trying to keep this show monetized here.
Oh, no.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine was about because I'm from Massachusetts. I've been looking into this past couple of days. Man, I never knew how much Mac Jones and all the offensive staff didn't get along. And I feel like it slid under the radar when Bill O'Brien went back to the Patriots. I think that's going to be big for Mac Jones. And here's a sleeper. I really like Tyquan Thornton next year because Bill O'Brien loves passing deep on the perimeter. So I'm not giving up on him yet. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Agreed. What do you think about, sorry to change topics here, but what do you think about Lamar Jackson? And Mike, do you think he gets tagged and stays, gets tagged and traded, or works out a long-term contract? Let's start with Mike.
I think he works out. I didn't understand why they got rid of Greg Roman. That was really shocking to me. So that must tell me that maybe that's an effort to keep Lamar. I mean, that was kind of shocking how they separated from him.
Ron, what do you predict to happen, Ron Navy, with Lamar? Tagged and stays and plays on the tag, which he said openly he would be more than willing to play on the tag. But what that means to me is that he doesn't want to sign a long-term deal, so he's essentially making himself look unattractive to the Ravens for trade reasons potentially. But is he tagged and stay on the tag and play on the franchise tag for 1 year? Does he get tagged and traded and then signs immediately a contract with his new team, or does he re-sign and ink a huge fat contract?
I don't know how it's all going to work out. All I think is Lamar's going to play for Baltimore next year in some capacity. However it works out, as far as contract or extension or whatever, but I think he's playing for Baltimore next year.
All right. Neglected Nate.
Yeah, I mean, I think the money on odds favorite has to be with him either getting franchise tagged or signed with Baltimore. But I honestly would not be surprised if he united in Miami with Money Mike.
Cali Loco.
50-50. Either way, like, it depends on if he wants the money or he wants to ball out, like I said the other day. I like to see him in Baltimore because, he knows everybody, but he needs more weapons, and I don't know if they're going to do that. And I think letting Greg Roman go, if they're going to keep him, was a mistake. It's not his fault. That's the offense they're running. If they want to throw it more, then they should have been throwing it more then. But
chat, I'd love to hear what the chat thinks. I'll drag some comments on screen.
Here's the other thing is Lamar's been so injured over the last few years. Who's going to pay an exorbitant amount of money to sign him?
Who's got their phone in their pocket?
There'll be so many teams around.
Someone's making some noise.
He's an inaccurate passer. He can't pass the ball accurately. So, I mean, if I'm giving a fair evaluation of him, yeah, he can run, but he can't pass for nothing. And I'm not paying a lot of money for that type of player.
East Coast Tatty dropping 5 gifted YouTube exclusive memberships. Tatty, I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much, my man. All right. Last, I'm gonna start getting some new callers in if they want to call, and then wrap the show up. I think in like maybe 10 or so minutes. Neglected Nate, final thoughts.
Yeah, if I could just circle back to what Callie said, I really liked his comparison with the Brady Manning kind of duo over the years. That's exactly how I see Mahomes and Burrow playing out. Just both being great, and Mahomes getting the better end of the deal, but with Burrow getting his 1 to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. We got I added a caller here, I think. You're a caller. I just added you. You're live. Who are we talking to? Hello.
Oh, hey, this is Nick.
What's up, Nick?
How you doing?
We're good, bro.
What's up, Smitty? Is this Smitty?
Yep, this is him.
Hey, what's going on, bro? Love your show. First time caller, long time listener.
I appreciate you. What can we do for you? You're on the phone with Cali Loco, Mike, Neglected Nate, Ron Navy, and myself.
Yeah, I just heard some guy. He was talking about the Patriots, talking about Tyquan Thornton. I totally agree with him. I just wanted to chime in. I'm big on the Patriots offense next year.
You like the Patriots offense. What do you think you're doing at wide receiver? Because you guys got to get weapons. You got to get bigger weapons. You can't be doing double
get someone. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've been a long-time Pats fan. I don't know what it is with Belichick, but he's never been the guy other than Randy Moss to go out and get some big names. And it's kind of terrible. I mean, I wish he would go get someone like Hopkins or something like that, but they've just never done it. And they need some big names. They never do it.
Now, I do not believe this to be true. Okay, so please, the keyboard warriors in the chat right now, I'm not saying this happens. I'm merely addressing the rumor, and I want to know what a Pats fan has been hearing and what they think. But you see New England Patriots pages and fans start chirping off about saying Tom Brady might return to New England. Do you have any kind of hope for that? And are Patriots fans talking like that? I don't think there's any shot at it, but I mean, never say never, but it's definitely not something I envision happening. But I'm just curious.
What did you say? Brady coming back to New England?
Yeah, I hear it all the time from New England Patriot pages, and people just they're trying to stir up rumors and clicks.
Dude,
and stuff,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, I mean, I don't believe it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. Would I be opposed to it if it was going to happen? No way. I mean, I would love Brady to come back. I never wanted him to walk in the first place. I think it was the coaching staff's fault that he walked in the first place. They should have paid him. They should have given him whatever he wants. They never surrounded him with receivers. They didn't do anything for him. They didn't help him. And I blame it on Belichick. If he wanted to come back and they could work it out, then heck yeah, I'm all there for it. But I just don't think it's the best choice for him. And at this point in his career, I just don't see him coming back. I mean, I really think he's going for like the Niners. Like we were talking about all week, dude. I mean, it was all dependent on Purdy's performance today.
Yep.
And, he stunk. I mean, the injury and whatever, but he didn't show out. If you put Brady on that team today, they're going to the Super Bowl as a cakewalk, in my opinion.
And like I said earlier,
maybe it's a good game, but.
And like I said earlier, if you put Brady on that roster and it doesn't work out, you still have Brock Purdy. Like, and you'll know pretty quickly. Like, if he was to for some reason fall off, right at that moment. But what better way to develop Brock Purdy too? You just hit the pause button. He was never the starter this year by default anyway. It was an injury that put him in there. And so it's not like you're ripping the job from him. You're saying, hey, you did really good. We're bringing in the greatest player to ever play the game at the quarterback position, or the greatest athlete of all time, people will say, or the winningest and the most successful and the GOAT of all time. We're bringing him in to mentor you. Like, part of Brock would be okay with that. Like, I know Brock wants to start right now, but if you were told this is your team for the next 10, 15 years, we just want Tom Brady to teach you, and we want Tom Brady to get one shot at it. I think you'd be mad at first because you're a competitor and you had the keys to the lineup, but at the same time, I mean, what he could learn from Tom Brady, it could be huge for him. So I think Niner fans need to be more open-minded to the idea and just the conversation that will probably be had, maybe not by the Niners, although I think it will be. I think John Lynch is going to have conversations. Maybe Shanahan doesn't want to, but I think John Lynch will have conversations. And is it really that more unlikely, Brady going to the Niners at this stage with what's going on and how everything's laying out right now and shaping? Can anybody on this call right now tell me that it seems more likely? What seems more unlikely if you could reflect back on week one and if I said to you, the Niners will have Christian McCaffrey, in double-digit weeks, you would say, no way. There's no way. First of all, Shanahan and the Niners, they don't make trades like that. There's no way. That was way more unlikely than Brady this offseason going to the Niners. So, we can never say never. And the Niners, John Lynch proved he's capable of pulling a big trade-off. And there's a lot on the line right now, and the team's ready to win, even though they've got, I don't know how many, 20-something free agents. The salary cap goes up. You bring in Tom Brady, you're gonna lure a lot of those guys back, and they'll want to stay. It just makes a lot of sense. And cap-wise, they'll figure it out. And Brady's been wanting to play in San Francisco since he was a little kid. If you don't think he'd make a team-friendly deal work however they needed to make the financials work. I'm not saying he'd play for cheap. I'm just saying he would do what's needed to be done to move the numbers around. And contracts are very strange. It's an accounting thing, not can it get done,
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Brady's only concerned about the championship. I don't think he's concerned about the money at all. He's never been concerned about the money, really. I mean, he was taking pay cuts on the Patriots the whole time.
Well,
Ron
Navy,
good defensive players.
Ron Navy might have something to say about that this year, though, because he did apparently lose him and Giselle a big chunk of everything they had in that FTX.
I mean, obviously, the whole Giselle situation could change things. I mean, Giselle was dealing in more money than him, apparently, but who knows what was really going on.
Ron, did you ever hear what percentage? Did anybody ever confirm how much Brady lost, like a percentage of his net worth, or was there ever a number?
Well, he lost a huge chunk of it. He did. He lost a huge exact number. I'm not sure, but it was. But now they did recover some money. But now he's got a lot of lawsuits of people suing him, personally suing him. So he's got to contend with all that, too.
Which I think is crap, and they're not going to win those because Brady, that's like a company coming to you and paying you to be their face, and then you do it and you find out there's corruption there. It's not his fault, but it's probably going to be draining on him. But I think nothing's gonna happen from that. He didn't know. Although you watch the video clips and the social media posts by this kid, and Tom Brady, and you're like, how are you so gullible? You think this kid's gonna rule the world? Just looking at this guy, Silicon Valley You know, it's almost like whoever has the most crazy hair and wears the most ratty clothes in Silicon Valley gains the most, legitimacy.
Smitty, are you talking about Sam Bankman?
Yeah, Bankman-Fried.
You're talking about Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever?
Yeah. Bro, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Brady screwed up on that one. He had a lot of money invested in that. And, that dude took the money and ran.
But just looking at the kid, he's a kid. He looks like he literally just ate a microwave plate of meatloaf in his mom's basement, and literally Tom Brady put his life savings into this guy and his company, and just looking at him, you would be like, well, this guy, this guy just got out of his mom's basement. I think he still lives in his mom's basement. You would think that. You saw him, you'd think that. I don't understand how this kid convinced all these people.
Have you seen Have you seen the video of Tom? He was taking a promotional video for FTX with Sam.
Yeah.
And Sam, the dude, was tweaking in the background, and Tom Brady turns around and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? We're trying to film a video here." I don't think it was kind of like a leaked video type thing. And it was weird. Brady was like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Ron Navy dropping a $50 hauler in the live chat. Ron Navy on the phone and dropping wattage on the screen. $50 worth. Let's read Ron's question. Unless Ron, how about you read your own question, Ron? Go ahead. This has never happened before.
I said we saw the best game tonight with Cincinnati and KC. Super Bowl will be disappointing because Philly's going to destroy KC like they did the Niners. Mahomes won't be mobile enough, and KC defense can't stop Philly. I foresee Philly by 20.
Let's interview. He's gone. I was going to say neglected Nate. He's gone. I wonder what neglected Nate would have said. Hey, there was a comment here. I just got rid of it. What was it, Buddy? Buddy said, I think Hopkins goes to the Patriots. That's certainly a landing spot I hear that gets kicked around a lot. I predict he goes to the Bears if he does get traded. I'm hoping the new GM for the Cardinals, this Monty character, I'm hoping Monty doesn't trade Hopkins and says, I don't care what you're doing with your social media, taking us off and doing the whole crybaby thing on social media. You're not going anywhere. You are Kyler's safety net, safety blanket. We need you, and you're staying. But if he does get traded, I think Chicago. I think New England's a possibility. But tough to say. And we got another caller on here. A guy that goes by the name of Smith. He's not related to me, we don't think. Smith, what can we do for you?
Yes, sir. 49ers. You already know. I know they lost, but hey, we can't win on a fourth-string quarterback that got a concussion and an elbow. Poor Brock.
We know that. We know that. Yeah.
In the words of the great gods, there's always next year.
But do you? It sounds like you don't blame Shanahan the way you frame that. You are.
No, I don't blame Cal Shanahan. I mean, the only problem I had was why did they put that one guy, I don't know his name, to block the Eagles' defensive line, and I think that's how if you saw the the playoffs, that's how Brock damaged his elbow. But it is what it is. So it was a good run, but Mr. Irrelevant, he did the best he could.
What's your prediction
next year?
What's your prediction for the game, the Super Bowl?
I'm not an Eagle fan or a Kansas City fan, but wow.
Give me a score.
I'm gonna go with Philly for the Super Bowl.
Okay. Ron Navy, what's your score?
I got it. I'd say 32-27. 32-10.
32-10. Wow. Mike, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
27-20 Philadelphia, Kansas City.
Oh, 27-20 KC. Okay. Who else is on the line? We've got Smith. Did I get your prediction? Yeah. I got yours, right?
No, you didn't.
Okay, what's yours?
No. 20-17 Philly.
Okay. Cali Loco.
I'm going to go 27-23 Philly.
And who else
I like
did I
the
not
defense
get?
and offensive line.
Who else did I not get? I think I got everybody. I'm going to go 27. 27-20. 27-20. I think both quarterbacks are slightly injured. I don't know if you guys watched, but there was a particular hit where I believe it was the fourth quarter where Jalen Hurts got popped, and he was on the ground and he grimaced really badly, and he made a sign like made a sign like don't take me out or something, and then he was pointing his shoulder, but he also made it look like he was saying that he hurt his shoulder, like he's pointing at it. And then he went back into the huddle. But then he ran the next play. He ran the next play, and then took a hit. And I'm like, okay, he can't be that hurt if he's going to actually not call off a run play and say, look, I can't run again, or I'm going to be out. So I don't know how it might be a pain tolerance issue. We don't really know, but I do know Mahomes. The one thing that makes me worried about Mahomes is that when you re-injure your ankle, you almost always re-injure it back to like square one, or you put it in a position to where it's not going to be better a week from now. Like for him to, there was a couple plays where Mahomes threw on his ankle and he was like really hobbled. There's very little chance that thing heals because he most likely set himself back on the track of healing. I don't know that he'll be as bad as when it first happened, but he's most certainly going to be hampered and hobbled, and he's vulnerable. Just like he re-injured it more again, he made the progress of getting better worse. He took away the progress by planting and throwing on it like 2 or 3 times during the game. So if he gets wrapped up, this could be one of those situations where Mahomes is off the field, on the sideline in the blue tent for like a couple portions of the game, and that could be the difference maker. Same thing could happen for Jalen Hurts, but I think Mahomes has a real risk of re-injuring his ankle. Gainwell.
That's my take on why I think he'll blow him out.
Yeah. Someone said Gainwell equals Pollard. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would say Gainwell looked really good tonight. Ron, you even sent me a message saying that. Gainwell looked really good. Gainwell needs to be used a lot. The run game looked fantastic. Miles Sanders running the ball in twice untouched. That was a total crazy scenario I would have never painted or predicted. Jalen's got to have to throw, though. He can't do what he did in this game. He's going to have to throw the ball to win the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens, but I'm rooting for Philly.
Hey, that's that offensive line, like I was telling you. I know we're fantasy, but hey, the offensive line, Kelsey's brother, and the crew, the Samoan guy, right guard. Hey, if they keep pushing guys around and the D line shows up, I like Ron's call. I don't know about blowout because Mahomes, but I'll go with Philly 27-23.
Maybe Mahomes doesn't make it out of the first quarter, though, the way Ron, when Ron feels a blowout, maybe the quarterback goes down. That's Ron's trying to tell us.
That's true.
All right, Cali Loco. I appreciate you, Cali. Thanks for calling in, and thank you for the super chat, my guy.
All right. Thank you, Smitty.
All right. Mike, appreciate you, man.
Okay, bro. Have a good night.
Yeah, call in anytime. And Nick, did you have anything else?
No, not really. I would chime in. I would say I'm not too out on Mahomes. I think he's going to have a great game. I'm not too worried about the ankle, man. He's got 2 weeks to heal up.
That's true.
He's not the type like Hurts that really relies on the running too much. I think he'll survive, just pocket passing. And, being that gunslinger. So I'm not really too worried about Mahomes. I'm taking the Chiefs.
You know, that's true. I mean, it is 2 weeks. It's not 1 week. It's 2 weeks. So, we do need to keep that in mind. That's a really, really good point.
I mean, you could say the same thing for Hurts with his shoulder, though, too. So,
yeah,
it could go either way. But
maybe you're right.
Mahomes and Kelsey carried me to a championship.
Maybe you're right, man. Maybe he's not at risk of re-injury as much as I initially was suggesting, because 2 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be hampered, but I just don't know if it'll hamper him too much, as Mahomes himself.
I agree. I think I agree more with that. What, Ron?
Against that defense is going to have constant pressure on them. I just don't. If it was 100% healthy Mahomes, I wouldn't say it would be a blowout. But I just don't see it happening. I don't see Mahomes making it out of there.
I'll agree with you, Ron.
I do think, if I was to try and analyze this from an objective point of view and break it down, I would say Mahomes and Hurts are near equals in my mind in terms of what they can do on the field. They do it differently, but their impact is the same. Offensive weapons, I think Mahomes knows how to deploy his consistently, probably a little bit more than Hurts, because Hurts will do it one game and then he'll do it on the ground by himself the next game. So there's like some of that inconsistency, but still, I feel like ultimately they're kind of an even match on offense. So it really comes down to, will Hurts be able to throw, or will he try and do it all himself on the ground, which I don't think he'll try and do, and it's not up to him necessarily. But it's like that defense is a difference maker. Like the KCD is not the same at all, on the same level as the Philly D, in my opinion. So it's Philly's D versus KC's D, huge advantage Philly, and then unless something crazy happens, Mahomes versus Hurts is like pretty close. So I don't know. It makes me feel like the Eagles will win, but you never know. Mahomes could just be magical. Maybe the KCD steps up similar to the way the Bengals D has stepped up every time people doubt it. You never know. Maybe special teams wins it. Maybe McLeod fumbles the game away, or he runs back a touchdown. What? Later, Mitch.
Look at how Philly
incredible.
Let's go Ron first. Ron, go ahead.
Well, look at how Philly ran on the number one defense, supposedly number one defense in San Fran. He didn't need to throw. He had the running game. So, and Kansas City's running defense isn't better than San Francisco's by any means. So, Philly could just run the ball, keep Mahomes off the field anyways, and if Mahomes gets on there, I just think the Philly defense is too much pressure, and one hit and he's hopping around and he's not mobile enough to get away.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it, anyways.
All right, we got a new caller on the line. Nick, I'm going to rotate you out. Any last words? 20 seconds.
No worries, bro. All good. One last question, actually. How do you feel about Pacheco next year? He's looking good.
Depends on the draft. The draft could ruin his hopes and dreams, but I like him a lot. I think they like him a lot, but they also like Clyde a lot. They also liked Damian Williams a lot. They also like this since Jamal Charles and the elite running backs that KC's had, Kareem Hunt. Like, we haven't seen a return of that run game, and it's kind of been disappointing. So I like Pacheco. It depends on his ADP, and of course depends on if there's a rookie there.
True.
All right, Nick, appreciate you, man.
Guys.
Later. I got a unknown caller here on the line. I just added you a couple seconds ago. What's your name and what can I help you with? What's up? Who's this?
Schmitty, how you doing, brother?
What's up? Who are you?
This is Hesh Sane. I've been a fan since the pandemic, man.
What's up, Hesh? Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. You're on with Ron Navy and myself. What can we help you with, bro?
Yeah, okay, so I'm wondering about Eagles' offensive options, right? So they got Devontae Smith, and they got A.J. Brown at wide receiver. I'm wondering, Hingle McCringleberry looks good out of the slot. I've seen in the preseason really do have some success there. I'm wondering, do you think that they're going to utilize Hingle McCringleberry more come the Super Bowl?
Let's go to Ron on this one. Ron, how do you feel about Hingle to Cringleberry?
I don't know. I think they're going to pretty much do what they've been doing. I think they're going to use Goddard a lot. They're going to use Adams and the running backs. I just don't see him deviating from that too much.
What else you got, Hesh?
Oh, other than that, I've been thinking, Jalen Hurts, I'm a Chargers fan. I don't hear him talked a lot about as far as the elite quarterback kind of tier, you know what I mean? In the same, I hear Herbert talked about a lot, Burrow, Mahomes, Brady, obviously, all those stars. I don't hear a lot about Hurts. Do you think that now that Hurts has made a Super Bowl, he's going to get, some respect on his name?
I think Hurts is pretty well respected, my guy, in fantasy. He's top 3. He's top 3, top 4.
In fantasy, yeah, but just in NFL media in general.
Media loves him, bro. He's on his way. He's on his way. Everybody loves him. Almost as much as Cringleberry. Almost as much.
All right, I'll see you in the chat, Schmitty. Thank you so much.
Right. Later, pal. Anyway. All right, Ron. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Later.
Nev, appreciate you being here. Fly, Eagles, fly, says Jordan. Taif. Can you please give me the pronunciation one more time? Am I right, Taif? Taif? Is that right? I think that's right. I feel like that's right. Taif. Remember when I say Seclan's name over and over? Seclan. Where is Seclan? He went to go get snacks like Dad and never came back. Like Dad went to get ice, never came back. Taif or Seclan went to get ice, never came back. Taif, let me know if I'm pronouncing that right, please. And give me the pronunciation if you don't mind. Smitty, always try to get it. Nev, what you mean, pal? It's Taif. I think I got it. Taif. 132 people in here, 101 likes. Punch that thumb up button. Your boy Smitty's about to bounce here. Fiat backwards, says Blind Larry. NFL way too early underdog draft roster. What do I think of it? By the way, if you guys want an underdog fantasy promo code, just go to the link in the description. I'll also drop the link right now in the live chat. But basically, they'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. Get on over there to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, and do one of these amazing 5-player high or low contests in the Super Bowl. We'll do a bunch of them, but we'll try and pick the best combination of players on the high or lows. That's phenomenal to do. And so, what was your team? You said you had Lawrence, running back Walker, JT, Mixon, wide receiver Sun God, Waddle, Andrews. I like it. Olave, that's nice. Mock drafts are going to be fun. All right, guys, appreciate you. I will see you on the flip side tomorrow. If there's breaking news, I will be live because I go live whenever there's breaking news. I'm also live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if there is no breaking news or no reason to go live, I'll either have a premiere on my top 10 wide receivers part 2 video, my top 10 redraft 2023 wide receivers part 2 video, or I'll see you just at 7 p.m. But you'll definitely see me at 7 p.m. And the question is, will you see me before? Who's the sun god? That is St. Brown. Appreciate you guys. Later. Peace out. Congrats to the Bengals. Well, congrats to the Bengals for having a good year. Congrats to the Niners for having a good year. But especially congrats to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Good job there, gentlemen. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with the yearbook that I ordered, and it finally came in today. '22 yearbook. Look at these gentlemen. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
I had to hit it. I had to hit it one more time. I had to. Burrow didn't burrow Mahomes today, but I had to punch it one more time. Appreciate you all. Later. Later, Nev. Later, Ron Navy. Thank you, Ron Navy. Thank you, Nate, for the triple stack super chats of $20. Appreciate you, Nate Dog. Avatar, appreciate you. Bella, check yourself. Appreciate you. Cali Loco, appreciate you. And Ron Navy with the $50 hauler. Ron, appreciate you. Appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for sure. And if not, if in addition, you'll see me if news breaks and we go live beforehand or premiere. So see you at 7 p.m. regardless. Later, guys.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.